why Bronwyn will go down as one of the best first seasons for a Housewives. Hear me out. Welcome back to number one Reality Junkie, where I take my reality TV junk and I just dump it right on you. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to this channel for more Housewives content. And y'all, let me tell you, I know you guys probably saw the episode that aired last Wednesday for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And baby, when I say Bronwyn is bringing it, Bronwyn is bringing it. But let me tell you why I feel Bronwyn is one of the best first season housewives we've had in a long time. Definitely top 5. And I'm going to break down a couple reasons why. First and foremost, Bronwyn is very genuine. She's not trying to play up for the cameras. She's not trying to do anything extra. I think this is just who Bronwyn is. The quirky costume, the attire, the labels and all of that, that's just who she is. I don't think she's putting on for the cameras, and we get a lot of the put on for the cameras from these housewives. So it's actually refreshing to hear someone and see someone, I believe, that looks very genuine. And especially when you're stacked up against their other housewives, then you can tell who's genuine versus who's not. But let me tell you, this last episode really put it over the top for me. I already felt that way. But the way she handled the situation, her and her husband handled the situation with Lisa and the girls contacting Heather at her cast trip, the way she handled that, I felt was very classy, very demure. She said what she had to say. She said her piece, but she didn't have to get all crazy with it. And so let's just go ahead and break down that whole scene, because we have the scene, for those who are not familiar with this particular last episode. The scene we're referring to is when the girls are right outside of Palm Springs. And this is a cast trip that Bronwyn has planned. Her and her husband met in that area. So it's been 10 years. They want to go back. Why not bring the husband? So I believe in my last recaps, I said the fact, number one, that she brought is doing a cast trips where the husbands are included. That right there, number one, I love, because we love the Real Housewives, but we love the real husbands too. And the husbands bring a different dynamic, and it totally brought a different dynamic to this particular cast trip that I think we haven't seen from the Real Housewives, because they rarely do cast trips where the husbands are included, right? It's usually just the girls. So I love that aspect. So we have the backstory basically. So now let's move forward. So as we know, Bronwyn attempted to invite Heather. She wanted to invite Heather on this cast trip, but Heather and her did not see eye to eye. Heather, left her house, kind of stormed out of her house. And from there, the decision was made, okay, well, obviously we're not inviting Heather to this particular cast trip. Fine. And honestly, it makes sense, because the cast trip, it's a couple's trip, so she would have been, the only one without a significant other there. And so I think it does work better that it's all the couples. We don't want to ostracize Brittany. We don't want to ostracize Heather. But having the couples there and the husbands and wives there, it makes a difference. Okay, so let's fast forward to the specific scene that we're in question. So we have the scene where Lisa, Bronwyn, they're all at the pool, and it's been a little awkward, for Bronwyn and Lisa, because she's feeling kind of like, you got Lisa specifically. They're very close. They were close prior to even her filming this show, and her biggest thing was like, man, I'm hearing Lisa, say that, how Heather feels and how you look at Heather this way, and maybe you misunderstood Heather, but they're not attempting to hear Bronwyn's side of what happened. And I have to agree. You can still stick up for Heather, but at no point in time did I hear you say, well, what is your perspective on what happened? How did it come across to you? And hearing what Bronwyn has to say, it's Heather, 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 Heather. So that obviously is irritating Bronwyn to no end, but she's keeping her cool. It comes ahead when they're all at the pool. The wives are at the pool. The husbands are doing their thing, but they're close by. And, they're having a discussion. Bronwyn gets up and leaves. And that's when we miss Heather comes in. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you miss Heather, at a trip that Heather is not invited because the host of the trip does not get along with Heather. I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing her name up. However, the fact that it was brought up when she left, and then the fact that they then FaceTimed her while she was not there, and then she comes back into a conversation where Lisa is on FaceTime with Heather, that to me is a bit disrespectful. Now, look, you can have a FaceTime, but and it could have been handled totally differently. I think if they would have done that maybe in the room or where Bronwyn wasn't, they were, matter of fact, earlier in that episode, Lisa and Meredith were off to themselves. At that point in time, they could have contacted Heather and called her if they, since they missed her so much. Now, doing it while Bronwyn got up, left, knowing that she was coming back does seem like you're doing it behind my back. You didn't do it when I was here, but you wait till I leave to do it. So I understand Bronwyn's frustration in that. But it's not just Bronwyn's frustration, and this is where you get the husbands coming in. Now, Todd is very frustrated, which is Bronwyn's husband. Todd is very frustrated. Now, Todd can be a bit harsh, but I think also, Bronwyn has brought up his age quite a bit. And that's the only reason why I'm saying this. I believe she mentioned him being kind of grumpy at times, and he does come across as very grumpy. But what he also comes across as someone who's going to stick up for their woman. And he's like, look, this is our trip. We were courteous enough to include you, flew you on the PJ, aka the private jet. And what's not going to happen is there'd be a level of disrespect toward my wife. But who did he take it to? He took it to Lisa's husband. And that's what I need Lisa to learn from the situation with her and Whitney. Do I like the way it was handled on either side? No. But one thing I can say about Lisa, her going up to Justin, Whitney's husband, saying all those things to him about his wife, you don't do that. Take it to the husband. That's what men do. Men, will take it to each other. And we as women, we need to do the same thing, because at no point in time has any other housewife gone up to one of the husbands and said, well, your wife is a liar. Your wife is this, your wife is that, and expect him not to have a reaction to that. So, the fact that Todd went up to John and said, hey, and you need to ship up or ship out. And then John can then go to Lisa and say, this is what is being brought to me. That's how it should be done. So I hope Lisa takes a cue from that book, from the book of handling how you're supposed to handle things when it comes to the husbands. But nonetheless, in this particular episode, what I just appreciate about Bronwyn and why I'm calling her like one of the best first season housewives we've had in a long time is this situation right here. She said her piece. She didn't, go off the rails. She said what she had to say. She stuck to the point. She was firm in her point. She's not tolerating the mess. And I love that about her. I love that she's firm in what she's firm and rooted in what she believes. She's also very fair. She's playing fair in this. And it's really starting to show how, some of the little ways of Lisa, some of the little ways of other people as well, not just Lisa, but other people as well, and how they handle things, because Bronwyn is just so real with it. So what do y'all think? I mean, there has been a lot of discussion about how, about Todd, and him being kind of mean. But let's focus the conversation on Bronwyn, because again, I feel like Bronwyn handled the situation very well. She went to her husband said what he said, and that's on him, but as far as her handling Lisa and letting Lisa know, look, that's not right. You don't contact someone behind my back who we know I obviously have issues with. That's a problem. And I would have to agree. Let me guys know in the comment section below, are you team Bronwyn or are you team Lisa? I gotta know. Look, I just took my reality TV junk and I just dumped it right on you.